everyone. Welcome to the class of software engineering. In today's video session, we will begin with the new module 5, that is project planning. Let us begin with software pricing. So in this topic, you are going to study about how to give price to the software which you had developed. So you know that there are several stages in developing the software. So the entire plan needs to be done. So once you reach at the last stage and your product is being developed, you need to deliver it to the customer or to the end user. So now the thing is what price you're going to say to your customer. So you need to think a lot while giving the price because lot of effort has been put in developing the product. Lot of effort by the people, we can tell, a lot of resources have been spent on it. Lot of time has also been spent. Lot of equipments has been used, I can tell. So you need to think a lot while giving a price to the software product. So how can you give the price? The price of a software product to a customer is the cost of development. So you can say the price based on the development cost. So how much cost has been incurred while developing the software? You can put all those amount there. So you can put all the charges on that. Plus, it's not only how much cost has been incurred throughout the process, also you can put some profitable amount also. Because finally, you need to make some profit from it. So you can put the actual cost incurred plus the profit. So it is nothing but the cost of development plus profit for the developer. So you can also tell the profit amount. When calculating a price, one should take organizational, economic, political, and business considerations into account. So this is already I have mentioned that it's not very easy to say the amount for or the price for your software product. It's not just in rupees. You need to think, analyze, and tell the price. So you have to consider the cost which has been incurred from the initial stage, like the requirement stage, till the end. It might be till your testing stage. So in that you need to include all the different factors which have affected. So it can be you have to take organizational. So what all resources you have used from the organization, economical, what was the budget. So you need to see how your budget was, how much you utilized from it, political and business, and also finally you need to make business. That is the main motive. So you have to gain some profit, not in a huge amount, might be a small amount also, but that is the most important factor in a business. One need to think about organizational concerns, the risk associated with the project. Now, here one more thing is not only the organizational concerns you have including when you're calculating the price for your software, you have to also think about the risk in your software. So I hope that there will be risk in your software while developing the software. So how you have tackled those risks? So what was the cost in estimated there? So all those things you need to think, you need to analyze, and the type of contract also. So these may cause the price to be adjusted upwards or downwards. So you can make the price somewhere which is convincible to your customer. As the cost of a project is only loosely related to the price quoted to a customer, pricing to win is a commonly used strategy. So follow this strategy. Pricing to win. What does it mean? Pricing to win. So you have to think a lot, I have told here, while saying the price to your client, because you need to win the client. See, if you get the proposals from the client, then you can make business. Otherwise, your business never starts. So, pricing to win. So, I told that you have to consider all the concerns. You also have to make profit, but somewhere you can adjust your price also. You can negotiate it also. So, you pricing to win means that a company has some idea of the price the customer expects to pay. So you see, while having the conversation with the customer, you will not might be at the initial stage. By 2 3 meets you will get to know how much they are ready to pay. Okay, so because what price you will tell and what they might expect, might if it is a huge gap, then it becomes a problem. So they may not agree with the contract with the company. So the thing is, you need to know by discussions how much the customer is willing to pay. So somewhere near to that you can adjust and tell the price. So and makes a bid for the contract based on the customer's expected price. A project cost is agreed on the basis of an outline proposal. So negotiations, I told that compromising. Negotiations can then take place between client and customer to establish the detailed project specification. So once they have agreed to the cost, you can make somewhere some cases you can make the negotiations. Now, this is important, factors affecting software pricing. So, we will see what all factors are affecting the software pricing, and so that you can say some price to your software. First one, market opportunity. Second one, cost estimate uncertainty. Third one, contractual terms. Fourth one, requirements volatility. Fifth one, financial health. So we'll see how these factors are affecting our software pricing. First one is market opportunity. See, I told that you need to think before you say some price. So why it is? See, suppose your organization is a new one to the market. You want to introduce yourself to the market means you have to win. So that's why I told pricing to win is the common strategy which you need to use. So initially, better you can go for a low price. Not that low price means you make very low profit. No, a development organization may quote a low price because it wishes to move into a new segment. Because you are a new organization, you want to make name, so that's why you can quote a low price. Accepting a low price, a low profit. Now the profit is low on one project. Now what happens? What affects? It might affect your company, but that's the first project you think. Then what happens? It may give the organization the opportunity to make a greater profit later. So it might be a next chance, for you, that you can get more clients and you can earn more in profit. The experience, the experience matters more. The more the experience you gain, you can make the more business. So the experience gain may also help to develop new products. Next, second one, cost estimate uncertainty. So here is cost estimate. See, suppose you have started up with your project and you have finished it. Okay, somehow you have managed to finish it and you have come up with the product. But some other way you have not kept track of what was the actual cost estimation in your project, because might be you have the fear of delivering the software on the correct date, given date you have, and you just want the product to be built. That is your main aim, because you are, since a new, suppose you are new to the new to the market. So keeping in all that mind, you may not have the correct estimation how much cost might have been occurred. Okay, so at that cases, what do you do is it may increase its price by a contingency over and above its normal profit. So you have some profit range, isn't it? So you can choose the cost either near to that profit range or above it when you're not sure of it. Third one, contractual terms. A customer may be willing to allow the developer to retain ownership of the source code and reuse it in other projects. So there are probability where the customer might tell the developer to retain the ownership of that source code. So they can take, means the company people only can have that source code. They only can be the owner, even though it is given to the customer. The ownership is still the company, in the company hands. So what's the advantages? They can reuse it in other projects. So the price charged may then be less than if the source code is handed over to the customer. Now in this case, if still the ownership is retained to the developer, that is the company only, then better to quote low price. Next, requirements volatility. Volatility is the requirements keep on changing, you know that. So if the requirements are likely to change, an organization may lower its price to win a contract. So after the contract is awarded, high prices can be charged for changes to the requirements. Now suppose you think that the requirements are keep changing, so that time an organization can put low price for its product to win the contract. And once it has got it, okay, it can charge some extra prices. That is, if some modifications have been done. Next, financial health. See, developers in financial difficulty, they might be in financial loss or something. So they may lower their price to gain a contract. So just they want the contract, they want the business, they can lower the price. So it is better to make a smaller than normal profit or break even than to go out of business. So you have to think of making profit in a low range. That is the meaning, or normal profit. Cash flow is more important than profit in difficult economic times. Okay. So these are the factors affecting software pricing. So next topic we'll see is plan driven development. What do you mean by plan driven development? Plan driven or plan based development is an approach to software engineering where the development process is planned in detail. So, here mainly how the development process needs to be carried out. So, there should be some specific way. So, you need to plan that development process. So, how actually the development process needs to be carried out, this has to be planned earlier on. Okay, so if you have the exact plan, then you can follow up very easily. So a project plan is created that records the work to be done. So we are planning, it's like you're planning for your project. So your project plan will consist of what? What work should be done, isn't it? What task should be done? Who will do it? So that particular task will be done by which person in the team. Then the development schedule. So development schedule is when it has to be started and when it has to finish, and the work progress. So final, what all deliverables you get from each task or from each phase, that you have to show in the plan. So project plans. In a plan driven development project, a project plan sets out the resources available to the project. So, also in your project plan, you have to clearly mention the resources. So, what all resources are required for carrying out the project? The work breakdown. Now, you know that the entire project is very big, so it might take years to develop. So, how we are actually going to schedule that work. So the entire project should be divided into different tasks or different activities. And you have to come up with a schedule for carrying out each task. The plan should identify risks to the project. So in the plan also you should be able to include the risk. So what risk you are going to identify in the project and what all steps you have taken to reduce the risk. To reduce the risk. Plans normally include the following sections. So you can see the following sections. First one is introduction. So what is introduction? This briefly describes the objectives of the project. So here mainly it clearly specifies what is the objective of the project, goal of the project, and sets out the constraints. What all constraints are there for your project? Constraints already we have discussed in the previous videos. So it can be your budget constraint, or it can be your time constraint, budget constraint. So within this cost only, within this budget, you have to develop the project. Time constraint. So the client might have given the time constraint within 2 years or within 1 year, this project needs to be developed. So introduction is nothing but going to specify the objectives of your project, also the constraints. Second one is project organization. Project organization. So this describes the way in which the development team is organized. Okay, so you know that you are breaking the entire project into different tasks. So now project organization means the main thing is looking at the task. Now you have to organize a development team. That is very, very important. So you have to select the team. So you have to select mainly the skilled persons in that team. So you have to see the domains which they have worked and you have to pick those people. So the people involved and their roles in the team. So you have to pick up the members who have skilled experience or previous experience of the domain and then bring into this team and assign them some role. Third one is risk analysis. So I've told that you have to keep in mind that you should be able to identify what all risks might be there in your project and what steps are taken to reduce those risks. Next, hardware and software resource requirements. So this specifies the hardware. So for every project there might be some or the other hardware requirement. Also support software. Some of the software tools are required to carry out the development. If hardware has to be bought, estimates of the prices and the delivery schedule may be included. Now suppose for your project you want some hardware components and you're purchasing it online, okay? So you have to produce all those bills. Okay, so which will be included in your development cost. So that is fourth one, hardware and software resource requirements. Fifth one, work breakdown. So this sets out the breakdown of the project into activities. Okay, and identifies the milestones and deliverables associated with each activity. So here you are dividing your entire project into n number of activities I've told, because that is the simpler way to develop your project, easier way to finish off the project. So you're dividing the project into activities and you need to identify the milestone and deliverables associated with each activity. Now these are two different terms which you are going to use in project planning process. So you must be knowing the exact meaning of these two. Milestone, deliverable. Milestone will actually assess the progress of your project. Milestone will assess the progress of your project, means where exactly in which stage your project is in now. Okay, and milestones are key stages in the project where progress can be assessed. So you can assess the progress of your project. You can get to know where is your project now, currently in which phase. Deliverables are work products that are delivered to the customer. So deliverables are work products that are delivered to the customer. So it can be some result or outcome or a product. Like for example, the first phase is requirements phase. So final, what is the outcome of that phase? You have to come up with the SRS, or you should be having a requirements document. So that is your outcome in that phase. Clear? Sixth one, project schedule. Project schedule. See, now you're divided all those the project into different activities. Now you have to schedule it. So you need to see first the dependencies between activities. So you know that some or the other activity will be interlinked. So there might be some activity depending on other activity. So you need to see which all activities are depending on each other and the estimated time required to reach each milestone. Okay, you need to compute the time required to reach each milestone and the allocation of people to activities. Okay, so first you need to see the dependencies between the activities, then the time taken to reach each milestone, and then you have to start allocating the people to the activities. Seventh one is monitoring and reporting mechanism. Monitoring and reporting mechanism. Now, the entire thing, this development process will be monitored by the project manager. So, and he has to give the final report. So, this defines the management reports that should be produced, when these should be produced, and the project monitoring mechanisms to be used. So it is the finally the manager. So he has to give the report of the progress of the project every week, might be every week. So he has to specify what all activities has been done, what milestone has been reached, what are the other deliverables, etc. etc. What mechanism has been used to monitor the activities. All those needs to be specified in the report. Now we'll see the examples of project plan supplements. So which are the different plans? Let us see. Quality plan, validation plan, configuration management plan, maintenance plan, staff development plan. So first let us discuss about quality plan. So these are some of the project plans. Quality plan is what? See, you're planning in order to achieve good quality software. So what are you doing in this plan? You are going to set some standard quality procedures and methods that will be followed in order to produce a good quality software. Okay, so that is quality plan. So this plan will include all the quality procedures and standards that should be used while developing the project. Second one is validation plan. Validation plan. So validation plan is, so you need to validate your system. That is the most important thing. So you have to specify the resources, the approach, the schedule for system validation. Third one is configuration management plan. This describes the configuration management procedures and structures to be used. So you're planning here some of the configuration management procedures. So how to configure that system. So that steps needs to be specified here. Next, maintenance plan. Maintenance plan. So here a plan should be set in order to mainly describe how we are going to maintain the software. Okay, so what might be the requirements for maintaining the software? You need to specify the requirements for maintaining the software, what might be the cost in maintaining that software, and what is the effort required in maintaining. Next is the staff development plan. So this plan mainly includes the skills and experience of the team members involved in the development process. So mainly it includes the skills and experience of the team members. So these are the different examples. Next we'll discuss about the project planning process. So this is very important, project planning process. Project planning is an iterative process. Iterative process means it doesn't stop, it continues. That starts when you create an initial project plan during the project startup phase. So where actually the project planning starts? It starts from the initial project plan phase. Okay. So at the beginning of a planning process, you can look at the diagram. This is the initial state. So at the beginning, initial state, what you have to do is you have to identify the major constraints to your system. Major constraints to your